Hello everybody, Andy here again. Still out in Spain wandering about. I'm just taking this a little walk today. I was just taking a track and I was going to go across the stream that you might be able to hear me gushing down beside me, which is coming off the mountains by the way. And I took this little path, but the bridge is down because of all the bad weather, which I may have mentioned in another video. Anyway, one of the things I wanted to talk about this particular holiday, a couple of things that have been different about it. One, we didn't have a car, which I have mentioned in another video, because of the nature of the place where we are. It's within walking distance of the town where we're staying, and town we stayed in on 3 occasions now. So that's enabled us to do things a little bit differently and saved us some money. But also, another thing we did is that we came on a Tuesday instead of coming on a Saturday, which is in Britain certainly, and the way that you go about holidays, so many, vast majority of the holidays, the rental places, especially if you do it yourself like I do, they change over on a Saturday. That makes it easier for the booking, I suppose. There's a regular date that you do it, etc. So everybody knows, everybody gets the best out of their property, the most money and all that sort of stuff for the rental. Fair enough. But the particular property that we're staying in, the couple don't mind, so we actually came on a Tuesday. Excuse me, I'm going through this quite. It's not a lot of room here, and some of these little plants and cacti and type things, palms, are actually pretty sharp, as I found out the other day. So we came on a Tuesday, and that's really changed the nature of the way that the holidays felt. And we, both myself and my wife, were only saying, because coming towards the end of the holiday now, it's a Sunday, and we go back home on a Tuesday, and it doesn't seem to have flown by. Most holidays you go away for 2 weeks, however long you go away for really, they seem to fly by and you think, oh God, is that it already? You know, it's nearly Saturday, it's nearly time to go home. It hasn't felt like that at all, and it's been quite refreshing that you thought, oh, Saturday's come, like yesterday, and we're thinking, you know, automatically your brain seems to be in this sort of gear of, it's Saturday, so therefore we should be going home or getting ready to go home. But we didn't, so it seems to make it longer, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So that's one of the things. But the other thing, and maybe has affected me probably more than my wife would have done, is the fact that when I go back home, this is the first time any sort of holiday that I've had, and I've done a fair bit of sort of travelling throughout Europe, and this type of holiday, and what I would class as travelling as well, and more exotic places, should we say, and I've always had to go back to work. I've always been able to get home and the day after or something like that, or you get over your jet lag when you've been to America and you have an extra day or something, but you're thinking, oh, I've got to go back to work. And especially in the last few years when I was actually in a management role, that means that when you went back to work, you had 2 or whatever weeks worth of emails sitting there, and you might even have a look when you got home and checked via your home computer to see, you know, what was going down, what it was going to be like when you got there, because there was that sort of element of, do I want to know or don't I, you know, because of what you might discover when you get and you think, oh God. And I was lucky to be in a position many years before that where I didn't have that. I didn't have like 2 weeks worth or however many weeks worth of work sitting there waiting for me when I got back, which is actually quite a good thing, because there's nothing worse than you have a holiday supposedly to get over all this stuff, and you go back and you just straight back into it, and it's as though nothing's ever happened. You supposedly come back refreshed. I didn't come back refreshed. I just come back thinking, oh my God, what have I got left? And so the end of the holiday was spoilt in a way, because you knew what was coming next. And I'm not alone in it. I know that that's a very, very common thing. So in this time, I'm lucky that I'm going to go back. Yes, it's a big change in my life, because obviously having left work for one reason or another, I've not simply putting anything off, but because this holiday has been on the horizon, I've had that date, like the 1st of September, or the day after we get back. That's the sort of date that I need to start thinking about things a bit more seriously, or start working on things. You know, a few things in the pipeline. I've probably talked about all this sort of stuff, or trying not to get the sun in your faces too much. It's just coming up over the hill. So that for me is a real big change, and I think it's made a difference to the way I felt on this holiday, and hopefully I'm now in that position where, as I wrote down in my little notebook the other day, the hamster may well have jumped off of that little spinning wheel that so many people are on. And seeing the way that people are over here, and having discussions with people over here as well, say the English couple who own the property we stay in actually live next door, and that's been another very good point about this because it's helped us to get into the way of life, I think. And I mentioned that in another video about the rhythm of life and sitting around in the cafes and the culture and that sort of stuff. And you feel as though you've got into it a bit more. So much so that a cafe that we tend to use most of the time, myself and my wife went in there a couple of days ago, and the waiter, and they sort of rotate the waiters or waitresses that come in, the people that serve you. And this guy come up and he said, hola, and he just said, you know, cafe con leche, cafe americano, and we said yes. He knew, that is nice. It is nice. It's quite worrying that you obviously spend too much time in there, but that's the nature of the holiday. But also the fact that it's nice that the guy recognises you and he knows you and all this sort of, because I do try and make a bit of effort to speak a little bit of Spanish. I can't, I just know little bits and pieces, but I try to. And that's one thing I thought about actually, is that maybe having a go at learning a bit more Spanish. But getting back to the point of what I was talking about, the couple that live next door, we've been asking them questions about things. We've learned things about the area, about the town, about things that have happened, the way things work or don't work or whatever it might be. And that's given me far greater understanding of the area, rather than just coming in there, plonking yourself down in a holiday cottage and effectively doing nothing for 2 weeks, because we haven't done a lot, because we've got a pool there. Yes, the town's within walking distance, which is good, as I said, because it has got me and my wife out. Okay, we go into town in the evenings most of the time to have something to eat or whatever, but we don't always do that. We sort of lounge around, and yes, it's great, it's relaxing and all that type of thing. So all in all, a nice sort of rounded holiday, I think, because I do like to get into the sort of local culture a little bit if I can, hence the fact that I'd like to learn a bit more of the language, hence the fact that I've been asking lots of questions to the owners as well. I must think, oh God, what's he going to ask me next? But I'm just interested in these things, finding out why does that happen. What, you know, like about the river valley that I'm walking down now, about how it was, you know, the problems, and they had it over at Christmas, and they were telling me all about that. But it gets you into an understanding of the area a bit more. So, which is something we've not had before. So there you go. The hamster is off the wheel, and at least if he does get back on the wheel, hopefully it'll be under his own terms and not somebody else's. And that's another big point actually, is the fact that I'm in that enviable position, I suppose. Yes, I may need to do something, but I haven't going into so much of a stressful position of what I was before. Not that I particularly considered it stressful, but ultimately I think it was, because it's only when you stop, you get off that wheel, that you start realising what it was like really when you were on it. And I'm certainly glad to be on that wheel, and certainly somebody else's wheel. You know, I'd rather be on my own wheel, wouldn't we all? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, wandering back down. Nice lovely day. Go back. Not going to go into town today, so we won't be having my coffee, but I'm probably going to get in the pool, because that's the sort of person I am. Anyway, thanks for your time. I'll speak to you again soon. Goodbye.